Answer me a question.
Don't you need
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Are you ready?
There you go.
All right, there we go. I'd like to, are there any public comments? Anybody?
We are going to amend the agenda, shouldn't
Yeah, let me go through. I forgot, we are going to amend the agenda. At the time of the Finance Committee looking at the budget, we have a motion that we will read at that time to the board to get their acceptance to put it on the ballot. We discussed this earlier at the Finance Committee meeting, and we will vote on it during the finance section of the regular meeting. Any questions on that? Okay, we can go on to public comments.
I think you have to vote to amend the agenda. So that
We do.
I'll move it.
Okay, we have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good, thank you.
Okay,
Okay, now we can go, yes, Brad.
public comments, okay. I asked a couple of months ago about the lawsuit brought forth by Mary Garish and everything, so I didn't know where that was, just so we keep apprised of what's going on and why.
We will be discussing that later,
Okay,
and we'll wait until we
Okay.
have a decision by the board. It is a legal matter, and therefore we will be doing it. You had also asked Fran for a estimate as to cost on that. I don't know if we've had an opportunity to do that or not. Renee, or?
and the only reason I asked that is because they have publicly said, well, we don't want to cost the taxpayers any money, but we're all taxpayers and we're suing ourselves. So the point of it being is that maybe they could find some way in their hearts just to drop it and move on.
Okay,
Okay?
very good, thank you. We'll see if we can get that more information for you in the future. Okay, we can go on then to public comments?
I guess that means me.
Yes, it does. Jim?
Hi, my name is Jim Carroll. I'm a selectman here in town, and I'm here as a support to Patrick Seaver, one of the owners of the Storm football team. And as you suggested, the last time we were before you, that we come up with some alternate proposals with respect to the use of SVSU and Mount Anthony grounds. And I've spoken with quite a few of the board members, and Patrick's going to flesh it out for you all. But the thing that I want to underscore is that this benefits the entire community. Mount Anthony, the SVSU, the town, and the Storm. This is a local team, and I think that's the thing that sticks right here with me. And at that, I think I'll leave it to that. Mr. Seaver. You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Patrick Seaver. I'm from Mount Storm. Just want to pick up and say thank you for letting us present tonight. Trying to take up too much of your time. We sent over an email. I'm not sure if you guys got it for the proposal with our options. Do you mind if I can read it out quick?
Listen to your language. I guess. You don't have to respond.
Thanks.
So my goal tonight is hopefully we can come to one agreement, one of our proposals. You guys could look over real quick in a second.
I want to just preference any discussion is that, we appreciate you coming in and giving us this. We are not in a position to make a decision this evening on this.
Okay.
We will review this. A committee will be formed to go over your proposals and respond to you in a timely fashion. We will, I can't give you a date, but we've already formed a committee to go over these proposals when we had a suggestion that we may be receiving some. And we will go over them and very carefully and get back to you as soon as we possibly can.
I appreciate that. One thing I just want to mention is on there, we have it as 4 and 4 games, either or all 8. We can knock that down to 7 because we included a preseason game on there.
Okay.
That helps make a decision.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, we
I
think,
have one question.
Yes.
If permissible.
sure.
In the last presentation, I think there was a suggestion that you were also talking with the BBA, Manchester area.
Yes.
How did that evolve?
We're basically, our main goal is to be here, so we're gonna.
That, I understand that.
So, my general manager couldn't make it tonight. He's been doing a lot of that behind the scenes. So I have to in touch with him first to get an exact answer for you on that.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, we will do that and be in touch with you. Who should we, what's the best way to contact? Who should we contact?
You can either do myself, I can give you my number, or we can do an email.
All right, would you mind writing that information? Do you have that?
I have your email.
You have it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we already have it.
And Tim, just before we move on.
Yes.
Who's on the committee?
The committee that I see here is the Director of Facilities, the Director of Athletics, the Superintendent, and I'll be on the committee also.
Thank you.
And I don't know if,
You had 2, Bill, and the 2 co-curricular activity people, Dave and myself, you
Yes.
already appointed to
yeah,
on this board, so.
and you two should be there too.
For future reference, is there a way that we can talk through email? So that way I don't want to keep wasting your time here at the board meetings. Should we come back, or is there a way we can talk through email, or is there a different way?
Well,
you guys like to
let us discuss your proposals.
Okay.
We'll get back to you, and if we feel we need to have further discussions, we certainly will inform you
Okay.
at that time.
Appreciate that.
Yep, thanks a lot for bringing that to our attention. Okay, are there any more public comments? All right, we'd like to move on on the budget, to the treasurer's report.
Move it.
Thoughts on this?
Do we have a second to that? Was included?
I'll second
See
it.
that to it?
Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Very good. Budget status report, as we all know. Discussion and approval of the budget. We had a brief meeting. We've had, I think this is our 4th or 5th meeting of the budget, and Renee has presented this evening a final budget. I think that most of you have a copy of it in front of you. Renee, would you just like to give us the highlights of that budget? I'd like to also at this time inform the board that the Finance Committee unanimously has recommended that we accept the budget proposed by the administration.
So the draft number 4 that you have in front of you is showing an overall reduction of almost 3.6% for FY19. This is due in large part to one-time savings that we're seeing with the change in our health insurance plans. So this isn't something that we'll actually see sustained from year to year. We had new health insurance plans roll out January 1st, which have significantly lower premiums, but we've already seeing that the Department of Financial Regulation has approved premium increases for FY19 ranging from 6.4 to over 17%, which are included in the budget here. We have no staffing changes included in the budget, with the exception of bringing the CDC custodial staff under the umbrella of Mount Anthony, but the CDC will reimburse Mount Anthony the direct cost for the salaries and benefits of those employees. Another big item to note is there's a significant decrease in our special education assessment, and that is not due to any changes in staffing or support staff, mainly due to what we're anticipating in out-of-district placements and associated transportation costs. So I just wanted to be clear on that. And then another contributing factor to the overall decrease is what we have received for tuition to the CDC. So I was anticipating that we might be seeing a small increase, but it actually ended up being a decrease overall. So yeah, about a 3.6% decrease is what we have before you.
In other words, our budget has gone down by close to $1 million. And we have not had any reduction in staff. I'm just reiterating what I said earlier, but it's important to know that we had a very strong presentation by the administration as to the need for those teachers to be able to move forward with the programs that they have instituted and will continue to institute next year. Hopefully, we will see significant gains and opportunities for the kids in the coming year. Are there any questions on that? Anybody would like to go over any particular detail? If not, I'd accept a motion to accept the budget, proposed budget for the 2019 fiscal year.
Second.
We have a motion, thank you. And Leon seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? The motion passes. The next thing we'd like to do is to be able to put on the warning. One of the things that concerned the auditors and has for the past few years is that our fund balance is extremely large, probably larger than we really should have it. We don't want to reduce that fund balance in any dramatic way because it would have a significant impact on the taxes that we would have to assess the different districts. So we've asked for legal advice on a motion that would allow us to put aside money for major projects that we would like to embark upon. So Renee, would you mind reading that motion? Or do you have it there in front of you?
Gave it to you.
You got it. I gave it to you.
Yep. Shall the Mount Anthony Union School District Number 14 establish a reserve fund to be funded from time to time from its accumulated fund balance, if any, and to be used to pay future district operating expenses or to fund, in whole or in part, future capital improvements, or both, as determined by the District Board of School Directors.
So moved.
And we have a second to it.
Which I'm going to pass a copy to you, Richard, so you
Yeah.
can have that for the minutes.
Any further discussion on it?
Just, Tim,
Yes.
if I'm correct, I understand that the voters have to approve the creation of this reserve fund, or else
Correct.
it can't
Correct.
be done.
Right.
Um,
Renee and others have gone to legal counsel to get their advice on do it, and those words that are in the motion are not ours, they come from our attorney.
Well, they'll be ours when we approve it.
Okay.
The only other thing is, and this is from some of the discussions earlier, do we expect that it's going to be this exact language, or it's going to be substantially the same language?
I would think it'd be the same. I mean, I would think it would be definitely
Okay,
the
so
same.
we'll be voting on the language that
Right.
is written here.
Yes.
The word voters is missing currently, so we do have to double clean up. So you should say shall the voters.
Shall the Mount Anthony Union High School District Number 14 voters?
Good. I'm a
Is
very
there-
bad
Is there any insight on what some of the capital projects might be that we're talking about?
Well, it could be what Leon was talking about, it could be other things. The board would have to decide. The first thing we have to do is to be able to have funds to be able to do things. And the second thing we have to be able to do is to see how best to fund those things.
No, I just wondered if there was some kind of pending problem that is
No.
on the horizon.
Not that I know of, and I'm sure Paul would have informed us of such if in fact there was such a thing. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good. Okay, we can go down to the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions, thoughts on the consent agenda? Does anybody else have trouble when you pull up the agenda and they say, click here for the packet? I click there and I don't get the packet. Does anybody else have that problem?
It's
tricky.
Occasionally, I have the
Yeah,
same.
once in a while I'll get his office or something, I can't.
I just don't, maybe, Jim, could you look into that and see what we could do about it?
Yeah, because I went on this afternoon and it's different than it used to be, but I was able to finally get the things, but they all come up weird.
They come up very weird, and you gotta go back to the SVSU and go through the
Yeah.
whole thing, it's a pain in the
Yeah.
neck. But this would be an easy fix, in fact, if you could just
It
get-
should be a fix easy because we want everybody to get that, get that information like we want, so before the meetings.
I'm glad to see it's not just me.
This is not the only board that has reported this.
Yeah. I would like to see the agenda included in the packet, as well as a separate email for it, because occasionally I've had trouble downloading the actual agenda, but I can get to the packet.
Usually that's pretty good, Karen's pretty good about sending it out, but we'll check into it, Ed, and be sure. But that could be, all part of it.
Could I get clarification for that? Because when you say included in the packet, when she send the email and she send the sheet and it has the agenda on it and it has that blue part that says click here
Right.
for the package, and then you go and pull it all up from that, we wouldn't want them to actually have separate connections to every page.
No, it should be-
This
I'm
is
just
a
saying-
link to that.
I'm just saying, suggesting that the agenda itself should be included as another document in the packet, as well as sending it out as an email like we do now.
Well, let's just bring those things to the attention of the IT department
Yeah.
and let them work on it, and Jim will report back to us next time.
And I acknowledge that that would be a little bit of extra work for people in the office, because if the agenda changes before the meeting, then they've got to.
Okay. Are there any other comments on the consent agenda?
Comment?
Yes.
Two of those retirements have
Oh,
been
thank
with
you,
us
yes.
a
yeah,
long time.
Yes,
Should we, would it be appropriate
Yes.
to, okay.
yes, I'm glad you brought that up, I meant to, anyway. Tim Brown, as you know, is retiring. I don't know how many years he's been here as athletic director and other activities director. Did you know, Jim?
Well, I used to work at the Penny Saver, so it's been a while.
Dave hired him, so.
No, I didn't hire
No, but anyway, he's been here a long time, and he's done yeoman service, and it's not an easy job, and he's done a great thing. Let me ask, Dave, maybe you could sort of be in charge of thinking something that would be appropriate for the board to show appreciation for his efforts.
And
you
Marge?
could- Excuse me?
Sweet Marge Brown.
Yeah, and Mark, right, okay.
She's been 30-something.
Yeah, we get her too, but would you mind doing that, Ed?
Give it a shot.
Good.
We can assist you, David.
I know I believe we're now conducting exit interviews with people where the central office is, but there was talk about it.
Yeah.
No, we send it all out to everyone who's leaving. Not everyone responds, not everyone wants to. We can't force somebody to come in for an next interview, but we do that.
What I would like from Tim Brown in particular, and this is more for the benefit of the taxpayers than us, but since he has intimate knowledge of the day-to-day activities related to athletics and activities, if he could identify areas that could be cut without doing any damage, potentially cut without doing any damage, I think we should gain his input, just for a record of it.
Sure, we can,
Of his thought.
we'll discuss that and see
We
what.
will, we're waiting for this to become public, these announcements are here, we will be starting to advertise by that, and it's been particularly around the position of Tim Brown's position. It caused us to pull out the job description and responsibilities. It's outdated, it needs to be done over, and that'll be part of us getting that position posted and I also have some requests from people who would like to serve on a screening committee for that, even though it's one of those positions that doesn't really fall under a policy. It's not really an administrative position, it's not a teaching position, so it's an administrative position. We would have a screening committee, so I'm going to treat it like that, and we will form a screening committee similar to how we have for the principal. It is an important, and it's also a very visible position for some of the reasons that Ed has mentioned, so.
Very good. Any other questions on the consent agenda? We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good. Good on policies. None? Leon, do you have anything to add?
No, we're having another meeting in February with the January.
Okay. The Education Committee did not meet, so that's it. Dave expressed his regret that he couldn't be here, but he had a previous appointment that he had to keep. We go down to Administrator's Report. We can start off with Laura.
Right. So, yes, I have two. Okay. So I'm proud to say that we had 3 students that won the Martin Luther King Jr. Poster contest from Barbara Ackerman's graphic design class, and it was publicized in the banner. But Tyler George and Rimley Wood and Robert Cunningham were the winners, so I'm going to pass this around. If you haven't seen it, they're lovely posters, and they're hanging in our main office. Starting during the month of February, our school community will be focusing twice a week on a Tier 1 social-emotional learning resource that will provide lessons for students during seminar. It's a Connect with Kids. It's also something that's used throughout our district, where the students will see a video with a social-emotional theme, and then there'll be discussion questions made available. And the goal, again, is to provide a platform for social-emotional learning, which is the beautiful thing about Connect with Kids. It's very differentiated based on the age level of the students. On Tuesday, January 23rd, we have a joint parent night between the middle school and the high school. It's the final in a series that we've completed. It's around our shift to proficiency-based learning. And it's the burning question in every parent's mind: what does proficiency-based learning need for our child's transcript? And so we have 2 college admissions counselors coming, as well as counseling staff from the middle school and the high school that will be present. There'll be a presentation and then time for questions and answers. The Vermont Agency of Education is coming back to visit us on February 1st. It's just their personalized learning plan team. They also made a visit last year about this time. They're checking on our progress. We are looking forward to sharing our work from both the middle school and the high school, and where we are, what spring activities we've built in. Right now, I know at the high school, our counselors, all of our staff is working with our students it's time to schedule for next year, which is unbelievable. So we're integrating the PLPs into the scheduling process, and that's a new shift for us. Some updates around testing. One is a reminder. I talked about it earlier in the year. So the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, which assesses reading and math, which was given to 11th graders last year, is now going to be given to 9th graders this year. And the high school, again, is doing the same format they did last year, which is a 2-hour delayed start on March 19th, 20th, 22nd, and 23rd, which allows enough time for those freshmen to come in when the building is quiet, and then everyone else joins in. There was a great deal of success in creating that environment last year. The Fitnessgram, we sent a team of our physical education teachers with our data coach to be trained in how to administer the Fitnessgram. At the middle school, it's grade 7, and at the high school, it's 10th grade, and that will be given in May in the context of phys ed class, and the physical education teachers that went will be instructing the other physical education teachers in how to implement that new state assessment. The Fitnessgram is not new. We've been using it ourselves as a local assessment, so now it's just being used to share data with the state of Vermont. And as a reminder that the new science test, which I don't have more information to share with you yet, but we are administering this year, they have told us, is again given to 11th grade, and that will happen in May in 2 90-minute sessions. My last little, Skylar is not here tonight. And I have a few, he apologizes, but the date was a conflict. We want to share that this Friday there is a dance, a winter dance at the high school. And our exam schedule for the end of the first semester, it will be next week. And on February 8th, 9th, and 10th, the theater group will be performing Peter and the Starcatcher play at the high school. And finally, on February 15th is the second semester open house at 6:30 for parents. And we are piloting an experience at the open house where students will have their PLPs available for their parents to see. Part of the law is that you have to have parent input. And when you have a large high school, it's an interesting project to figure out how to get parent input. So this is the attempt that we're going to try this year, and we've put some energy behind that, and we're going to give it a go.
Good. Could you just tell me what grades get the SBAC test now?
9th grade,
Ninth grade, just in the 9th grade?
just 9th grade. That's just high school.
I'm trying, yeah, just in the high school.
So it's
but
3
Did you
through-
say that the science then would be given to the 11th?
Yes.
So there would be 9th and the 11th, but this would be the first year of the science, correct?
It's the first year of the fitnessgram being used as a state level assessment at 10th grade. It is the first year it's a new science test, so we have been administering a science test each year, but it was based on the Vermont grade level standards, and this new science test is based on the next generation science standards.
And they'll be taking the test in March or whenever you said. When do we expect results from them?
So I cannot speak to that for the fitness grammar science. So as the state prepares the assessments to be rolled out, we are trained. And so I know nothing about the result end of the science or the
Well, I
fitness
meant the
gram.
regular test.
The SBAC is last year. I can only go by what we had last year. So the window was from March to mid-May to May, and then there was a makeup month in June, and we received our results to be able to release in I feel like it was September,
Okay.
like mid-September.
So we wouldn't get them until next academic year. Okay. Very good. Leon?
If I got the date right, field studies tomorrow from 9:15 to 2 o'clock, room 226.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, the field study project. So Kristen Kimball's field study class is sharing, her group of students are sharing their presentations tomorrow, and I think invitations were sent out, and I actually have, if you're interested in that before you leave, I actually have the individual schedule, and Skylar is presenting, one of our students has a presentation.
Right, and that's what I was gonna ask, was anybody, I plan to go and spend most of the day there, if it's okay to have me there.
They're
Yeah.
looking
And-
for an audience, which is
Yeah.
why they sent the invitations
And so I was
out.
hoping somebody else would be wanting to join me.
What are the hours again and the location?
Starting at 9:15 to 2 o'clock at different ones, the different projects, the field studies in this room 226. So, at the high school.
Any other questions for Laura?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, yeah. good.
When she comes up out of her.
Leon did a great job.
Parents have to give input to the PLP.
Yes.
Is there any requirement for them to agree with it or sign off on it or accept it?
My reminders, if I put my elementary teacher hat back on and going back to conferences, you are always trying to find platforms where you can connect with parents to work. It's a team approach. And so the intent of the law was more about having key stakeholders sit down with a student to craft an educational plan. And so that's the intent of the law. When you have a large high school, you've got to figure out how can you create that opportunity for parents to come together with their child and school staff to provide input. And so I am blessed to have a very creative team that's been
playing around with some different models, and this is the one that we're gonna try right now. But the goal is, our goal is to have like, if a child's sitting with a parent and they're talking about their PLP, is to have some kind of handout that can go back to the counselor to make revisions. So we do need a communication fee to document some changes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Tim?
All right. Just a couple of things from the middle school this evening. I just want to remind folks that today we hosted Diana Malkin. She is the literacy coach that we've been working with for the school year. This was our third attempt. She landed on 2 previous snow days, so we appreciate that we didn't go with Wednesday this week and we went with Thursday instead. She's been great. She'll be back with us next Tuesday to continue the discussion. Today's discussion, we were talking about schedule and how the schedule can support extra help for kids, and it was a very lively conversation. We look forward to her coming back. This Friday marks the end of the midpoint of trimester 2, so if parents would do me a favor and check into Infinite Campus and take a look at where your students are and reach out to teachers with email and phone calls, we'd be happy to help you. It just means that we're halfway to the next marking period. It's a good time to check in and see how homework is going and assignments and things like that. Also on Friday, we're hosting a dance, a much cooler dance than the high school. We offer a gym, cafeteria, show for those of you who don't feel comfortable on the dance floor. It was, all kidding aside, the dance will go from 7 to 9. And so if 6th graders are going home and telling moms and dads, it is true, we will be here on Friday for that. Next week, Friday, Laura already hit the Tuesday night function, but next Friday, the 26th, is an in-service day for parents. Just to know that, that's for faculty and for paraprofessionals, so there will be no school on Friday. I wanted to thank Paul Dansereau and Darlene Jones and the custodians. For those of you following along, this building has kept them really busy the last 2 weeks with various infrastructure challenges. Once again today, running around and really not having a minimal impact on instruction. I'm just really impressed with the time and the effort that they put in, including weekend hours, as the building has kind of had to be babysat on the weekends is when it gets cold. And then lastly, I wanted to thank Laura, the announcement about the SBAC. My 11th grader thanks you most sincerely for not giving him the test. My 9th grader will come in to see you and wage a complaint. That was not part of her calendar, but she appreciates that. And that's it from the middle school.
Very good. Any questions for Tim? Tim, what, I remember reading that the school had problems. What was it?
I'm gonna pull
Oh,
it out.
okay.
Oh, Paul, yeah, I'll leave that to Paul.
All right. All right. Are there any other questions for Tim? How do you, okay, superintendent's report, go ahead.
So, as part of my superintendent's report, I was going to ask Paul to come up and speak. I echo what Tim says. Paul and I have had many phone conversations and texts during this rough weather that we have had. Applaud him and the staff here at the middle school responding to many issues. It's not just you. We've had other buildings, other districts that have had some frozen pipes, but not to the extent that you have had in this building, which I think surprised many of us, since this is the newest building in the district. But, well, Paul, why don't you give a little brief overview?
Paul Anstrow, Director of Facilities. So when the extreme cold snap came in and stayed with us for a good 2-week period, we experienced issues with the unit ventilators, which are the main source of heat and ventilation input into the building. The high school and the middle school both have large number of unit ventilators. Down at the high school, one happened to freeze. So what happens is a damper may have got stuck open a little bit, or froze open, or a gasket's bad, it lets the cold air in, freezes out the heat coil. Once the heat coil freezes, puts obviously stress on the copper line, goes thaw out, expands, bursts the line, then you have the hot water that's in your heat system now spewing out into the room. So one did occur at the high school, but at the middle school, a total of 5 different rooms had unit ventilators that ended up freezing out and bursting the coil. Started occurring on December 26th, I believe was the first one. Our first two, then we had a couple days later, over January 1st, we were in the building again. On December 31st, January 1st, for another 3, and it's been going on. And today was one that happened to freeze before that we had repaired and installed. Froze again, we're digging deeper into that particular damper as to why that's going on. So the other issue that we had, in particularly the middle school lot was closed the one day on January 2nd, was that was immediately after we had 3 different rooms that burst the coil. What you also had then was a lot of the wetness and the odor and a little bit of the glycol and antifreeze smell. There's still some that are in the lines. That was permeated throughout the building. So that's why we just requested with Tim A&M keep the building closed one additional day to let stuff dry out a little better, some of the odors dissipate, and get back to normal use. So.
And while you're up there, Paul, on top of dealing with heating issues, you had kind of a backup issue at the high school. Why don't we bring them up to date on that?
Another issue that was occurred prior to the December break, at the high school, there was a backup of the sewage line that feeds from the high school east campus, which is the old vocational buildings. That line goes across the parking lots, goes into the main building, that feeds into the main sewer line. Somewhere there was a blockage in that line that was affecting the restrooms out in the east campus and the student center. We had that pumped out. Manholes that feed into it, we're able to pump those out, the jet down through a service. Thought we cleared the clock, which we did. Then after the holiday break, what we discovered is now the boys' locker room in the high school started backing up 2 days in a row. So we did some further investigation, found that a rock...
When you say further investigation, there's a camera that goes in.
Clearly, there's a camera that goes down the line. You're able to see that there was a rock that was blocking 3/4 of the 4-inch pipe. What we then ended up having to do is in the locker room, we isolated where that was, traced where the line was, had a jackhammer through the floor, dig out the pipe, cut the section, get the rock out, replace that section, get it back in place. We then investigated though back the other direction as to where the line feeds into the building and discovered that there's a hole in that portion line. That's where I believe that rock was initially came into the line. So what I suspect now would be that initial blockage was probably from that. When we jetted it, we may have pushed the rock further down into the line, but then discovered it once we were having issues inside the building. So.
And then some
more to follow on that. We have to remediate the problem that was inside. We still have to go back, trace the line, isolate where exactly it is, dig that portion of pipe up, see how the extent.
But you had some great help and cooperation from the town and
yes, Town of Benton came in right away, helped us trace the line out. All out service in Shasbury for the initial blockage, then Jim Austrian plumbing, and Seaport Group for coming right into.
I was very impressed with the response and the coordination that you were able to do in a short time that didn't impact student learning and time that dramatically. Thank you.
Those issues go back to the original construction?
I'm sorry, the heat issues? Or the,
Yeah, both.
Both. The heat ones, it's unit ventilators. I'm real. The building's 12 years old. What we'll start doing more this summer is where we can access all the damp or the outside vents, really look at what the conditions of the seals are, and make sure that they're sealing tight. I'm doing some more of that. I also suspect that with the greater winds up here at the middle school, there just might be some anomalies that are affecting things differently than down at the high school. So,
Why didn't the glycol keep the pipes from bursting?
there's glycol that's in the system, but it hasn't been maintained in several years before I came on position. Because also, if it's not maintained and regulated properly, it also then gets it can almost be like acidic. So all your rubber seals and valves, rubber seals and
So there's
joints.
There's a balance between too much glycol and not enough. Too
Right.
much can be corrosive to all the seals.
Well, maybe you could look into ways to, other anti-freezing things that go in there, because that sounds to me like Well, anyways, it's a lot of freezing, a lot of work for you people to.
The anecdotal is, the last time an issue of multiple events was approximately 5 or 6 years ago in this building, so.
Well, this building is old, and we've had similar cold weather too, so there must be something that. Anyway, thank you very much, Paul. I think we're all very appreciative of you and all the other people that contributed to it sounds like a very difficult situation.
Like I said, as Tim said, I can't thank my staff up here, Darlene Jones, foreman, and all those, and Bill Pulvers, foreman, and my staff down in the school, what they did.
Thank you very much. Jim?
Yeah, you know, we're meeting on Thursday night tonight. I just want to explain that. I thank all of you for being here, that we could actually have a quorum. The difficult situation that we had to make a decision on, if I had waited to tomorrow, if I had waited to Wednesday afternoon to cancel the meeting, we would not have been able to reschedule, because I would have been outside of the timeline of an open meeting, you know, law. So that's why I had to make the decision on Tuesday, consulted with the chair, and we shifted both the panel meeting and this meeting, because by doing it on Tuesday, we could still announce the meeting for Thursday. So that's why we're meeting tonight, and it did, even if it had cleared in the afternoon yesterday, if it didn't, it would have been too late to cancel. So what's the impact of 5 snow days on the 2017-2018 school calendar? We now are in school to the 22nd of June. Met with the Teachers Association today. They wanted me to address some rumors. I'll say it right here. There's no plan right now to cancel the April school vacation. So we will be, I hope we don't use any other snow days, but the safety of our students and getting to and from school, and even of parents who are transporting their children and children who do walk, we do have some walkers, and always comes first. So I will continue to make that judgment if I have to. I hope that I don't, because now we're pushing into the week of June 25th, which, as Laura can tell you, will impact professional learning for our staff. That last week of June, traditionally, many of our teachers participate in professional learning throughout the state. What we're seeing the effects of is that we have one of the longer school years in the state of Vermont. The state requirement is 175 student learning days. We have 180. Then we also have what are we at now? I know we just reduced 7.5, 8 professional learning days. Is that what? So, because when we build our calendar, it was 188 and a half. I think it's 187 and a half now. So it's a long stretch to get all those days in. Last year, I came to the boards and asked them to reduce, because we had 7 snow days last year, to reduce the number of student learning days at the end of the year. We took 2 days off so that they didn't have to come back into that last week of June, and the teachers then, their days, like going to something like the best conference, that counted as their professional learning. The complication this year for doing that is the Bennington School District. We came back after Labor Day this year because of the construction project with the Bennington School District. They needed a longer summer period. So that's why we're so late in June. And those students didn't start school. They started school a week after all our other students. So they are going to be tight to get the 175 days in. So we'll look at options. I will update you as we get there. But no, we're not canceling any school vacations. We know that people have too many plans. I do caution, and this is what I mentioned to the association today, and I will they asked if I would put a memo out. Because the calendar is printed and it says the 22nd of June is the last school day. Because and it could be shorter if we use less than the 5 snow days. What it didn't say is that it could be longer if we use more. So that's something that we learned that should actually be added there. So if someone, and I ran into this last year, you should know this, if someone comes to me with documentation that they have already made plans for beyond the 22nd, then we will work with them and try to accommodate them, either through the use of personal days or something like that. So the caution that I said to the association leaders today is that that documentation would have to show that those plans were made prior to today. So, someone makes a plan for renting a cottage for June 25th, and they show me that they made their reservation, in April, we wouldn't be as accommodating. We are in the planning for, we're in draft 3 of the 2018-2019 school year calendar. It kind of amazes me to say the year 2019, but to those of you that are new to the board and to those that have been here a while, just want to refresh your memory, we have to do a regional calendar. We don't do it in isolation. State statute says that we have to create a school calendar around the Career Technical Center for that region, because some students go to their technical center from Arlington, say. So we're supposed to make our calendar align with theirs for like school vacations, professional learning days, half days, all of those type of things as much as possible. Otherwise, if we're out of school and Arlington's in school, there's no place for that kid from Arlington to go. So we're almost there, and then we'll be releasing that calendar soon. We have draft 3 out. Still got to make a couple adjustments on, we already made an adjustment on the first day of school so that Arlington and the SVSU start at the same time. Laura, the Professional Development Committee, and Dr. Lee reviewed it yesterday as far as aligning professional development days. And we're pretty close with Arlington, except on a couple. It'll never be perfect. Goes back to the same reason I started in the beginning. They don't go the same amount of days, so it'll never be a perfect match. So not only is it budget season, but Dr. Leap and I are in evaluation season for all principals and SVSU directors. Just wanted to make you aware that that is ongoing, and that's what is occupying a lot of our time. An oversight on my part, you all got an email on this after the December meeting. It's something that I forgot to announce, but I'll announce it here publicly. Laura Boudreau, it's probably the worst kept secret at this point, has agreed to remain as principal at Mount Anthony Union High School for the rest of the year. I thank you for doing that. The search committee for principal has completed their first, Tim serves on that committee also, and so does Dave Durfee, who isn't here tonight, has completed their first round of interviews. Leon, I'm sorry. See, that's how distant I am from the screening committee, that I don't even know all the members. So what I understand that you will be calling some candidates back for a second interview, and I met with Nick Gott from HR, looking at my schedule for when you'll be able to bring people back and have me available to interview them. I did meet with Nick about, and I hope he relayed this back to the screening committee. All members of the screening committee are welcome and encouraged to attend whatever site visits that are planned. And I will be meeting with the screening committee because I want to hear their views on the people that they interviewed, and not just what I have gathered in my interview with the candidates. So I hope that will meet with a positive reaction. And that's everything I wanted to discuss.
All right, I assume that there's nothing new on 46?
On Act 46, no, there's
Okay.
nothing that, as you know, the vote did not carry in Woodford, so Woodford will have to do a Section 9 report to the state, and then it is now up to the Secretary of Education to review all those Section 9 reports, make a recommendation to the state board, and we'll see what happens from there.
Very good. If I do not, Jim, would you be responsible for gathering that group together to discuss the proposals?
So I already, for the storm, I already
Yeah.
made a note, and so Karen will review my notes tomorrow morning to set up a meeting to review the Vermont storm
And the-
proposals. Committee members to include Director of Facilities, Athletic Director, Superintendent, Board Chair Leon Johnson, and Dave Frederickson.
Right, good.
Okay, and to do that as soon as possible.
Okay, very good. All right, then we will have an executive session. I'm not sure whether we will come back into open session again. It depends on what happens during that,
We'll at least come back to adjourn, whether you'll come back
Yes.
and take any action or not.
right.
Depends.
Damage to the field.
Okay, so we need a motion to go
So
into.
moved.
We have a second? Very good. All in favor, aye, Joe?
It's conceivable that, and